Now we take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe. The Nigerian presidency yesterday intensified diplomatic engagements with Washington following threats by the U.S. President Donald Trump to launch a military intervention in Nigeria over alleged killings of Christians. The diplomatic engagement between Abuja and Washington is seen as crucial to manage what could become a major bilateral crisis. As of last night, Nigerian officials were still coordinating with their U.S. counterparts to clarify the basis for Trump's demands to reaffirm Nigeria's commitment to protecting all citizens and to secure assurances that any military cooperation will not undermine Nigeria's sovereignty. On November 1, 2025, President Trump declared that he had instructed the Pentagon to begin planning for potential action in Nigeria and warned that U.S. aid would be immediately cut off if the Nigerian government did not act decisively. Reacting to the threats by Trump yesterday, the governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, said that the issues are more complex than the picture of a Christian-Muslim dichotomy being painted by the U.S. Soludo said that the Nigerian government needed to respond with the facts in a deeper conversation, adding that although America has the right to hold an opinion about other countries, it must be done within the precincts of international law. For instance, the governor maintained that the killings in the southeast, where he hails from, were not motivated by religion, emphasizing that those who are killing Christians in that part of the country are people of the same religion. Also, former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kokonso, urged the U.S. to shift from threats to constructive engagement, adding that technological and intelligence collaboration to tackle Nigeria's security challenges would be the best solution. In other news, Governor Diri says Bayelsa State is now 95% All Progressives Congress, ending weeks of speculation on its political future after resigning from the People's Democratic Party. Diri spoke exclusively to Arise News in Yenagwa after top APC members endorsed him as leader of the party in Bayelsa State. Ovieteme George reports.
For the first time, top members of the All Progressives Congress attended the Bayelsa State Thanksgiving service. They are happy about the shift in political power in a state governed by the People's Democratic Party since 1999.
The governor has been governor for 6 years. He's only crossing over to, to better grounds. It's important for Bayelsa to be properly aligned. And, we believe that the governor made a very strategic decision, not just to bring Bayelsa, to the national, but the entire Ijaw nation. So we're happy that he made this decision, and it is in the interest of all of us. He will remain the leader by the constitution of APC. The governor is the leader automatically. And so all of us will queue behind him, strengthen him to deliver the dividends of democracy in a greater way.
This is my first time of attending the Thanksgiving with teaming APC members and supporters.
Is it because power has changed hands?
Yeah, since 2015, APC has been struggling to take over this state, but we are unsuccessful. But however, now, by divine providence, we have taken over Bayelsa State.
You have a new leader now, Diri, Executive Governor of Bayelsa State.
Yeah, Diri, by our custom and tradition of the party, Diri is now the leader of APC Bayelsa State.
We're here to celebrate the goodness of God upon Bayelsa State, for enthroning peace and stability in Bayelsa State, and for giving us the kind of governor that has worked hard to ensure that infrastructures are being developed in Bayelsa State. And we're all here to support him to ensure that what he's doing is being sustained and peace is sustained in Bayelsa State.
Governor Diri ends 2 weeks of speculation after resigning from the PDP.
The beginning of the political process in Bayelsa, when we were all in PDP, the only thing we struggle and fight over was the ticket of PDP. And immediately we have somebody who has the ticket. The general election is a formality, and that's what you are going to witness in the next elections. We can quarrel among ourselves, but the moment we have a ticket in APC, then know that it is all done. And for me, now that we are going to APC, and when APC formally, nationally receives us, you know that Bayelsa can be taken for granted. It is 95% APC. And it has been proven today by what you have seen. APC, PDP, LPP, everybody is here. And even those who are not here, for one reason or the other, they are part of us. So that is the Bayelsa of our dream. Our founding fathers wanted peace, wanted unity, wanted a recognition. And today we have that. We want to be united. We want to be one. We want peace, we want security. We want, above all, development of Bayelsa State.
The Bayelsa State Governor will officially join the APC on Monday, the 3rd of November. Ovietime George, Arise News.
Joining us live from Yenagoa to bring us updates on Governor Diri's defection is Ovietime George. Good morning, Ovietime. Great to see you on the morning show today.
Good morning, Ayomero Ese. Thank you very much.
Ovietime George, what are the implications of Governor Diri going from the PDP to APC? I know that the reason that was offered by his chief press secretary previously is that it's important that Bayelsa State is not isolated in the South-South. Almost all the other states have gone in the direction of APC. So what's the reaction of the people? And where do we place the recalcitrance of the deputy governor, who says that, no, he is not moving. He is going to remain in the PDP. And could all of this have been possible without the blessing of President Goodluck Jonathan, who is the principal major, political actor from Bayelsa State? What are you hearing from the streets and within political circles? Tell us.
Good morning, Dr. Ruben Abati. Well, you asked a question. If you're patient, I will just go through it one step before the other. It's a complicated issue, since the death of Chief Diaprie Solomon Peter Alameseya, the first civilian governor of Bayelsa State, since 1999. But when he died, there were cracks in the PDP, but that, I think, was actually managed by Governor Henry Seriake Dixon. But, these things build up over time. And today you're talking about the implication of Governor Diri moving to the APC. Well, it's simple and clear. The PDP has lost the power it has held on to since 1999. That's a devastating blow to the People's Democratic Party. Now, about 2 weeks ago, Governor Diri resigned from the PDP, but he didn't say where he was going to. But everyone knew, even the undiscerning could know that he was heading to the APC, because the Speaker of the Bayelsa House of Assembly, Right Honorable Abraham Ingobere, said it is good to align with the center. So without telling anyone, we knew he was heading to the APC. He's now there. The deputy governor is not going. We got that information just a few days ago, last week to be precise, when we heard that there is a court statement, or was it an injunction, trying to stop the House of Assembly from impeaching him. That means he is not moving anywhere. Well, 3 House of Assembly members also, Yenagoa Constituency 3, Tedelemeforo, Kolokmo Pokuma Constituency 2, Wisdom Fafi, and Sagbamba Constituency 1, Oyinke, God bless. But the majority of the House of Assembly is just moving with Governor Diri. And he said something, Bayelsa, when he granted an interview to me exclusively yesterday, that Bayelsa is 95% All Progressives Congress. He knows what he's saying. I do not know. I'm just a journalist out there in the streets trying to scratch and dig in for news. But note also that the man they call Olokodao, linguistically translated in his own language as the father of laws, and that is Governor Diri's predecessor, Senator Henry Serake Dixon, representing Bayelsa West Senatorial District, says, I stand gidigba. I'm quoting him. That was what he said, that he's not moving, that he believes there should be opposition party. Now, the deputy governor is tied to the apron strings, whether you like it or not, to Governor Henry Serake Dixon. Not that Governor Diri and Lawrence Erujakpo, the deputy governor, all were in the Senate. They came back and contested for a joint ticket and got it as governor and deputy respectively. So we could just predict that the deputy governor was going nowhere. Now that's a definition of loyalty and solidarity with his boss. But look at how it becomes interesting. Just 3 members of the PDP in the Bayelsa House of Assembly. Then I can confidently say maybe 21 or more than that, because there are 2 APGA members, All Progressive Grand Alliance, BRA in Nembe, and Waikuma Amakoromo in Yenagoa also. So, as it stands now, none can really state how it's panning out.
Quickly, can you talk about the Goodluck Jonathan factor
there
in
was
this
an
matter? The most important political figure today from Bayelsa State.
Dr. Ruben Abati, please take the question again.
I said, what are you hearing about the position of President Goodluck Jonathan, who is the most important political figure from Bayelsa State at this moment?
Dr. Abati, you once worked with a man from Otuake, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, former president of Nigeria. He's a man of few words. He doesn't just talk. He has whatever he has up his sleeves. Until the time is ripe, he would say something. And that is where it gets a bit more interesting. Should Jonathan indicate that he's going for the presidency, again, there will be dynamics, there will be permutations in Bayelsa. Jonathan is from Ogbea local government area of Bayelsa State. He still commands respect, and he has a wide followership. Then with the North tilting towards Jonathan, I don't know. You see, everyone will have to look at it and begin to do the permutations. But so far, I can confidently tell you, Governor Diri has crossed the Rubicon by reason of that poster just right behind me, smiling beside Bola Ashiwaju Ahmed Tinubu. Now, this was a long time coming. We all knew it was going to happen. Well, I knew, I don't know about others, because when the Supreme Court gave a verdict that Tinubu has been affirmed as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that Supreme Court verdict, Governor Diri was one of the very early callers at the villa. Doesn't that tell you something? Because he has an admiration and respect for the president. I knew he was going to leave. Okay. But we shouldn't just preempt him. So now he's gone.
Okay, he's gone now. All right, so yes, we can talk about admiration, respect for the president. He's also said that his decision is altruistic and that some people might not understand why he's made this move to defect, and that he did it in the interest of the Bayelsa people. Can you expound on this? Is this what the people want? What is the sense in terms of the people of Bayelsa State who have voted PDP for many years and now the governor defecting to the APC? Do people share his sentiments that what he's done is in the interest of the state?
Well, it's still early days in Bayelsa. We're trying to feel the pulse of the people. You know, the APC is not taking over Bayelsa from the ballot. It's a decision of the governor and his administration. Whatever Governor Diri knows, he's going to state right here at the Samson Siasia Stadium venue for the official defection of him and, of course, the National Assembly members, House of Assembly members. Before I forget, for the House of Assembly, just 3 members are keeping faith. For the House of Representatives, Frederick Yetemo Agbedi, Sagbama Federal Constituency is staying in the PDP. Marie Ebikake, Brass Nebe Federal Constituency is staying with the PDP. And Mitema Obodo, Ogbea Federal Constituency, a kinsman of Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, is staying with the PDP. Does that mean that maybe somehow Ogbonuma, the man from Otuake, is likely to say something in the coming days, weeks, or months. But talking about the people, it's been 50-50. Many do not actually like the idea of the governor leaving, while others feel they bought into this philosophy that you need to align with the center for development to come. But again, we'll have to wait, perhaps with bated breath, for Governor Diri to tell the world why he's going to the APC. As it stands at the moment, it appears the man from Opobo in Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, is the last man standing, and that one is somewhat shaky.
Okay. Good one, good flow. Like the fishes in the water of Bayelsa. It's just that I've not seen fish from you yet, Ovieteme. But good flow like the fishes in the water. Maybe if we can Korea fish, I will be more happy. But is this not a betrayal of Governor Diri to the same party that stood with him? Let's go back historically. It's not today the cracks in the PDP in Bayelsa started. The PDP has actually lost a governorship election at the ballots in Bayelsa until the court ruled last minute after David Leon had done his march past parade. It was that ruling, the Supreme Court ruling, over technicalities, over issues and certifications and all of that, of a running mate on that David Lyon's ticket, that nullified that ticket and brought in Diri. Because I remember our own Ohi was the one that covered the election a day after. And when Diri spoke of how bad the APC had, done in the state and how they had turned democracy into rascality and all of that, because he lost the elections that morning and he said he was going to fight in the court until that Supreme Court judgment came in his favor. So the same party that stood with him through thick and thin, is it not that same party he is rejecting and betraying? The same APC that was his albatross, is that not where he's going to? And what has now happened to the political future of the likes of David Leon and other people? Because that man actually won through the ballots. But the courts and Providence never gave David Leon the chance. The governor that never was. That's what they call David Leon.
Rufai, you asked the question if it is not betrayal on the part of the governor. Betrayal is a word. Definition may be relative based on the realities, the political realities on ground, which the governor may be privy to. I am not. He said it is in the interest of the Izon nation. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineken Lupubri, said the same thing yesterday, that it is in the interest of the Izon nation. Professor Benjamin Ogele Okaba, an academic and also the president of the Ijaw National Congress, said he wasn't begrudging anyone, that the Bayelsa that he knows, and in fact, the Ijaw nation does not have any political party. Let decisions be taken in the interest of the people. Could that be the reason Governor Diri is going to the APC? I really cannot say. Something I omitted, which I must state quite clearly. I told you 3 House of Reps members out of 5 are staying in the PDP. But to the Senate now, we have 2 men. Both of them are Bensons in their own right. Benson Agadaga, Bayelsa East Senatorial District, where Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is moving to the APC. Benson Kombowe Friday. That one is Bayelsa Central, who actually is representing the people of Bayelsa Central Senatorial District, Governor Diri's Senatorial District. Now, let's come back to what you said about David Lyon. David Lyon, for the first time in the history of Bayelsa, says since the proclamation and respected by the laws of the land that Bayelsa must have a Thanksgiving Day on every November 2nd. David Lyon was there yesterday. Maybe if you had watched the video, you would have seen him. So Governor Diri said something, that today, Monday, everyone would see the unity of Bayelsa State, irrespective of political party affiliation, the PDP, the APC, the Labour, COA, and whatever you wish. So, Diri is trying to tell the world that he wants to see Bayelsans in one political party. And that was why I said 95%, even though Henry Seriake Dixon, his predecessor, is not going. So you said betrayal. It is only Governor Diri who can interpret what that means when he takes to the podium in a few hours to tell the world why he decided to move to the APC. So Rufai, as it stands now.
You dodged. You dodged my question because you know what I put to you was a technical missile, because you cannot evade that part of history because it actually happened in Bayelsa State. And whatever you can say about David Leon, he's not going to be happy that something that came so close to his hands, a day away, was taken away by the court like that. And his opponent is now celebrating the victory and now comes to his political party. But we need to go because of time. I thank you so much and very strongly, for
but Rufai, I need to state something here. The David Lion experience was like seeing Canaan, but not being able to possess the land. He wasn't really happy. But you see, the way and manner of politicians, my brother, do not be involved in their war. Matthew Kuka, the bishop, said something in Ghana during the democracy dialogue. When you see House of Reps members arguing, don't join in that conversation. Later they will jam the door and share the money. So politicians can just wake up today. I told you 3 members are not going in the House of Reps. I don't know, anything can happen any moment. That is how politicians, when people are asleep, they are awake. When people are awake, they are still awake. That's the way of politicians. I am a journalist in the 4th estate of the realm, Rufai. Thank you.
Thank you for an excellent reportage. Thank you very much for that. Of course, we'll definitely follow up on that and see if there'll be any more defections in the offing to the APC. But Rufai, let's come back to the first story we had talked about, and that is one that has dominated the news since it broke, I believe, over the weekend, and then the response from the president and counter-response from the president of America. Your take on this story?
Okay, couple of things. I'll take you back to the late 90s, about 1998, when America first had a law called the International, Religious Freedom Act, where they said there's going to be a list where they put people on, countries of concern, and they're going to mete out sanctions against nations that don't uphold religious freedom. America's own point of view is the fact that America emerged as a result of respect for religious freedoms. That act was also upgraded and amended in 2016 with the Mark Wolf Act of Religious Freedom, as signed into law by Barack Obama. And the act stipulates that countries that America have put on the list, they can do economic sanctions against them. They never talked about invasion. Secondly, any talk about invasion of a sovereign nation contravenes Charter 2.4 of the United Nations. So those 2 points are clear. You can't invade a sovereign nation without the say-so of the nation. You can talk to the nation to bring you in to help solve problems. But even that has its own implications, because America does not come and fight for you for free. This morning on my Twitter page, I put the cost that Kuwait had to pay America for the Gulf War between 1990 and 1991. As of 1990 and 1991, Kuwait paid the American government $16 billion. If you adjust that money for inflation today, it's about $40.1 billion. Everything will come with a cost. Yes, we've also talked about rare earth metals, rare earth minerals that is also here, America's own business and political interests and all of that. But secondly, the point I want to make this morning is this. Because we are a sovereign nation does not mean we shouldn't stop the killings of people. Isn't it a shame, collective shame, that it took Donald Trump to be able to rile us up for us to be able to have this conversation again? All the killings, irrespective of religion, irrespective of tribe, should people be killed the way they are being killed in this country? And people are not calling a spade a spade. I saw the likes of Shegumi talk this morning when he was saying, America has no right to threaten us, we should call their blood. What? The same Shegumi that talks in support of the criminals that says because they've not been given a better lease of life, that's why they perpetrate these crimes? We live in a country where we are taking photo up with bandits. Section 14, subsection 2B of our Constitution said it's the role of the government to fix insecurity and get our people secured. The government has failed in this in the last 15 years. I can open my phone and read to you tweets of President Tinubu condemning Jonathan for the slaughtering of Christians then. All we are telling President Tinubu to do this morning is to do the thing you condemn Jonathan for. Enough is enough. Like I said on the table the other day, it's because people close to us have not been killed. Any back on Lomo,
If it happens to you, you will speak in a harsher tone than I'm speaking this morning.
All right.
And I'm very sad for us in this country. And the data boys are playing all sorts of politics with it. The banger boys and data boys. Yes, Nigeria should engage. I'm happy that from the president's side they're going to engage. But apart from engagement, is it too much to ask for that we should stop this killing once and for all?
All right. Okay, is it too much? Dr. Abati, your take on this?
Many years ago, I think 96, 97, I took a course in American foreign policy process in the Department of Government and Politics of the University of Maryland. Our teacher was a gentleman who had worked in the government in the United States, Odin Carter III. And one of the things we studied under American foreign policy process, that's the title of the course, is that America is not a colonial power. It doesn't conquer countries. And the highlights in terms of what America does in terms of its foreign policy process is promoting democracy, human rights, global peace, and all of that. But what we have seen is very surprising. Under President Trump, there's been a lot of contradictions. President Trump has upended the American foreign policy process. Now, where does he derive that power from? For him to declare war or an invasion of a country, he will need to get the approval of Congress. I'm not too sure that Congress, which is divided between Republicans and Democrats, will give him the approval to invade Nigeria. And what I'm trying to point to is the contradiction, the hypocrisy in President Trump's approach to Nigeria. Now, there are more Christians perhaps in Kuwait. He's not saying there is religious persecution in Kuwait. There are Christians in Hamas, in Gaza. He's not fighting on behalf of the Christian Palestinians. He's supporting Israel. So that's not an issue for him. There are Christians in Lebanon. He's not fighting on their behalf. In all of the countries where America has intervened, you see this contradiction. I think President Biden's tried to stay within the framework of the American foreign policy process, but President Trump is emerging as a global dictator, and that is why, not surprisingly, you have on the streets of the United States, no kings here, people protesting. So that dictatorship is extending it. Now, America has always intervened in Africa. In Somalia, between, I think, 2012 and 2014, they exited when it became problematic for them. They wanted to help to ensure peace. America has intervened on humanitarian grounds in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, and all of that. Now you find the United States saying it wants to invade Nigeria. Now, I'm trying to rush my thoughts. Very quickly, an invasion of Nigeria will not be in the interest of Nigeria. And what is the point? It's simply that if America brings drones here, brings, all kinds of things in any part of Nigeria, Nigeria will never be the same because no country can survive a religious war. We have seen that in other parts of the world, whether it's Afghanistan or, it's in Lebanon. So we cannot even afford that. And that's why I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must act swiftly. Acting swiftly, we have a body called Presidential Advisory Council on foreign relations, or is it international relations? Now, we have those people. We have Chief Emeka Anyauko, who is still alive. We have President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President Olusegun Obasanjo. We have diplomats, experienced people. We have religious leaders. Cardinal Francis Onayeka, Bishop Matthew Kuka, all of these people should be mobilized immediately. And there should be diplomatic engagement for Nigeria to say, no, it is not true. We're having security challenges in Nigeria. After all, there's religious attacks, yes, by Boko Haram, what Trump calls the Islamist state. Yeah, Professor Zulum can confirm that yes, there is attack. But that attack is not just against Christians. All of us are in this pressure cooker lifestyle that we live in Nigeria. And I think President Tinubu struck the right note by saying, look, Nigeria is ready to work with the United States, to help us. After all, terrorism, banditry, being international, cross-border challenge. And the Nigerian government has always been asking for international help, either from the British or the French or the United States or from, regional countries within West Africa. If America invades Nigeria, it's not just only Nigerians that will suffer. The whole of West Africa will be destabilized. Okay, let's go a bit further. Now, Trump is fighting South Africa, trying to divide the country. Trump is now also fighting Nigeria on details that he doesn't understand. And I've seen some of them, Congressman Moore, Congressman Cole, Senator Ted Cruz, all these parachute politicians. In fact, the thing is so embarrassing that even Nicki Minaj put her mouth in the matter, saying, there's no religious freedom in Nigeria. Can Nicki Minaj just concentrate on anaconda, obligations and not talk about Nigeria? So all kinds of characters are talking. Now, part of the problem we have here is that even Nigerians, there are fifth columnists among us. If you go and check, one former governor said, Tinubu will not get second term. Is this about regime change? Is this an attempt to demonize the Tinubu administration, to stop, or to influence the process of 2027? That's a question right there. And the fifth columnists who are behind this, need to be cautioned. Freedom of expression, all the rights under Chapter 4, they have limits. And this is the time for Nigerians to be responsible and to know that the sovereignty of their country is important. People who have been gifted with a microphone, whether they are politicians or public affairs commentators, should be responsible in what they say. There is a book by Francis S. Merrill that talks about responsible journalism, responsible commentary. And I think at this time, President Tinubu needs all the support that he can get. And, it should be supported. But we're not just supporting him, we're supporting Nigeria. Finally, some people have said that this is about nemesis. In 2014, 2015, these same APC people, they went to America and said there is religious persecution in Nigeria. Christians are being killed in Nigeria. America should do something about President Jonathan's administration. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's the God of Jonathan that is now responding to them. So it looks like nemesis. But this is our country, and we have an obligation to defend this country. The same Americans, when America is at war, you see that all of them will come together. They will put Nigeria first. This is a test about the policy of putting Nigeria first. All of us are in distress, whether we are Christians or animists or Muslims, and that's the point that I've seen Omoyele Sowore making. Yeah. That, look, what we need is good governance. If this country is properly governed, if this country is at peace, Rufai just quoted section 14 sub 2B of the Nigerian Constitution. Security and welfare of the people. It is a reminder, finally, that the Tinubu administration needs to do more to secure this environment, to make it peaceful. But I don't subscribe to the argument that America is coming for our oil. America, they are not. They are even supplying crude oil to Dangote refinery. They are not even buying our gas from Nigeria LNG. They are getting their gas from elsewhere. But there is a complexity. There are contradictions that we need to address. So some people say, oh, they are coming for our resources, as they did in Libya, Syria, and other parts of the world. No. We should not demarcate our country, but we should support government. And President Tinubu should seek help. There are people in this country, I don't even know whether the Presidential Council on International Relations has been constituted. Yeah. If it has not been constituted, now is the time. We have people who have experience. We need adults in the room, not the small people around who think that they know everything. We need adults in the room. It should call for help from Obasanjo, from Anyanku, from T.Y. Danjuma, from Babangida, from all the people. This is the mess that APC has created, and they should correct it by acting swiftly.
Yes. Action is what Nigerians are calling for. Like I said earlier, there have been a number of responses, reactions following the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, and then further on, the diplomatic conversation or undiplomatic conversations have happened between countries of both, presidents of both countries. Now let's start looking at solutions. But I think first of all, in terms of solutions, it's a good time and a good thing to call for Nigerians to be united and not, speak against. But this is why consistently, before this has happened, we have talked about the fragile relationship along ethnic and religious lines that this administration must fix. It was politicized heavily. And when it came to head, this administration did not do enough to correct or to address it. We said it on this table that even if it took the National Orientation Agency to promote togetherness, unity, oneness, speaking with one voice, now that we have challenges, we are now running helter-skelter and asking Nigerians to speak with one voice. Sometimes it's better to be proactive than reactive. And so now asking Nigerians to be patriotic, asking Nigerians to speak up for Nigeria, when the warnings had happened right before to say that bring people together so that when it's time, it will be genuine and you're not having to try to get people together when it wouldn't work. And that's why some people, if you see the reactions, some of them funny, some of them lighthearted, some of them supporting this move. And of course, it's really largely from a place of ignorance. But it also speaks very clearly as to how disunited we are as a nation. And if there's one lesson from this, it is that we must fix that problem, because it works during politics season for a few, but when it comes to crunch matters, we would need people to really come together united and not begin to bring ethnic slurs, religious divides when it comes to issues like this. So let's look forward in terms of what does action look like. We must have a democratic and security response to this. Diplomatic and security response to this. Already in the news this morning, I talked about how the presidency was intensifying efforts to have diplomatic conversations with the United States of America. To be fair, again, this is a bit too late. When the Senator Ted Cruz had raised the issue, rather than propaganda and trying to push narratives around, oh, this is not true, or burying our head in the sand, we ought to have taken action. We ought to have begun diplomatic efforts to ensure that this narrative is corrected with facts, not with just, a nice story or just writing or releasing statements. With facts. If they're claiming that Christians are being killed, then they must present a counterfact to the alternative that not just Christians, but it is an issue around terrorism. Then we had an opportunity long before now, when the Christians in the Middle Belt were crying out to say that they were killing them. The pastors were coming out to make videos. The response was not sufficient. Unfortunately, it's taken the America's response, America's statement for us to begin to take action. Why did we not put our house in order in the first instance? And now we're reacting and responding. I wish we had taken the opportunity when the issue was brought to light, especially by some people who were victims of these killings, and the Nigerian government acted. Now, following that, beyond the diplomatic, we've heard that the news around a meeting confirmed is not true. I think it's important to say that. But the Nigerian government is working very hard to ensure that they open that channel of communication with the United States and ensure that a diplomatic conversation is had. Beyond that, I think it's also time we spoke about representatives diplomatically across countries in the world. We still do not have ambassadors in the United States, ambassadors in other countries of the world as we speak. The president will now have to take serious attention or pay serious attention to for Nigeria's foreign policy, Nigeria's foreign diplomacy. We do not have to get to this kind of issue or point before we begin to move. And so maybe it's time now that the president makes the appointment that a number of people have been calling for a long time. Now, in terms of our security response, the most important and powerful response to this is to actually fix the problem. Yes, the president gave marching orders to the new service chiefs that they must tackle this plague that has belabored Nigeria and just affected our image economically, security-wise in many areas. I believe it's high time that beyond paying lip service to it, that we actually put our boots on the ground and fix the issue. Nigerians are dying, and it is quite shameful that the outside world has to tell us our own problems when it has been glaring all along. Thousands of Nigerians are being killed. Every other day we keep reporting stories of people being killed, whether in the mosque or in the church or in areas, and yet nothing concrete has been done about this. Hopefully this will be a wake-up call for Nigerians. But very importantly, let's also think of economic strategy as well, because if the US cuts aid in Nigeria, then we must think of how we're going to, manage that impact and the safety net measures that must be put in place in case an economic sanction comes into place in the interim. Well, we'll continue to talk about this. I'm sure in the course of today's show, we'll have further conversations around this.